Hello Results Seekers, Coach Daniel here with another resistance band workout for you. This week we've got a little bit more of a pulling, rowing theme for most of the movements. Some leg work in between those exercises as well. So we're going to be doing an unusual thing here, back to the supersetted exercises, or two exercises performed together. We're going to move our way through those, and we're going to finish with a little bit of ab hold exercises for time today. Again, I'll try and provide alternatives for you in case that you don't have anything to attach your band to, because a couple of the exercises do involve that. But as I say, we'll come to that when we come to it. So to get started though, we're going to do some step-ups, some band-resisted ones. Although again, with these ones, the step-ups, depending on what you're stepping up to, how high you're stepping onto, are quite a tough exercise, or can be. So if they feel tough enough by themselves, don't necessarily worry about using a band for these. Just crack on with them normally, because they're quite a good exercise and a tough exercise by themselves. A couple of different ways I'll show you of how we set up the band with this. First one, we're just going to have the band looped under the foot like that. So this one, set ourselves up, and all we want to be doing is a little bit of tension on the bottom, so obviously it's going to resist us as we stand up now. Now the key thing with a step up that we want to make sure we're not doing is jumping off this back leg too much. It's this front leg we want to use to drive, help us stand up. Okay, so good tip to help with this, lean into it, push your weight, keeping the heel flat, nice and flat on the surface. We're just pushing into it nicely, so you're going to lean in, stand up like that. So this one, we're going to do 8 reps each side, but again, the usual with it, if it feels a bit easy, by all means get some more tension on the band or go for a few more reps, absolutely fine. And likewise, if it feels a bit harder, reduce the reps a little bit. But 8's a good ballpark to start with. So I've already done 2, so it's stuck in. As I say, just trying to drive this front leg, getting that to do the work. And now, so we just need to change our feet. So again, just get the band, make sure it's under the middle of your foot. There, and again, same thing, leaning in, try not to jump off the back leg too much, this front leg doing the work. 8 more on this side. So in this one, it should just feel like you're gradually accelerating. You feel like you're springing up, or you're jumping up quite easily, it's a bit of a sign you're probably using your back leg a little bit too much. So yeah, I'll just start quite gradually pushing up. Doing with. So, hopefully you found that all okay. As I say, don't feel free, if it's feeling quite tough, like you can't do it without jumping on your back leg, by all means, just ditch the band before it. Just try it by itself. It's a great exercise by itself. So what we're going to pair that up with though, it's no monies. We're going to have slightly higher reps with this. We're going to do sort of 12 plus, I'd recommend with this. A little bit higher with it. But again, arms like this, knuckles, you see, the knuckles are down, they're not rolled down. Try and keep them in this position. So as I say, we're going for 12 reps. Try and keep the elbows tight into the side as well. Don't flare out too much. Oh, 12 of those, as I say. So we're going to aim for, again, the usual 3 sets here just to get through it in a decent time. But again, by all means, if you want to do an extra couple of sets, make it a bit tough for yourself. Do pause the video on the 3rd set. Go for a set 2 or more with it. So another way to set up the band, if you want, for the step ups, just that's a way of having it over the shoulders. So again, make sure it's resting on your traps. But again, same foot position, so you still want it over the middle of the foot. Standing on top of the band, make sure you're just nice and firmly standing on the band so it's not going to go anywhere. And again, drive that foot forward using that front leg. change your legs there. Again, looking forward, chest up. Again, push that knee forward a little bit. Just try and keep that leg doing all the work. There we go. 8 reps on each set. So yeah, back to the no money. So again, remember these ones as well. Try and, when you reach out with the hands, get them out to the side. Try and pause there for a moment as well. Don't let the band just snap your back sides out. A moment. I'll show you from the side actually. So you see just that moment pause there. Just getting comfortable in that end position. That's the tough part of the movement. That's where we want to try and spend time to get better and stronger at the movement. So, back to the last set of the step ups here. So, I'll have the band which over my neck here. But if you're holding the band in your hand the first way that I showed you, do feel free to crank up the tension as well with it. If you want to make it really tough for yourself. But again, get yourself in position, ready, lean into it. This front leg doing the work. So, change over there. So again, our last hit on this side. So, do try and lower yourself down in a controlled way as well, not just dropping down, slowly down. So yeah, move on, just get the last set, no monies out of the way. So again, remember those elbows in tight, knuckles flat, don't have your knuckles like wound down like this. Remember pausing in that out position. And there we are, that's 12. So, if you want to do a few more sets, pause it now. By all means, crack on, do a few more. Anything up to 5 will be pretty good. But we'll move on to the next couple of exercises now. So, the next two we've got a seated face pull, but we're going to double up the band with this one. Just crank up the tension with it, make it a little bit tougher than we have been with the single hold. So, we're going to double up with the band here. I'll show you how to do that. And we're also going to do something called a one leg good morning, single leg good morning, which you will need a bit of water to put your foot up again, but again, I'll show you that in a moment. So this one, so instead of just looping the band over, what we want to do is get, sorry, just make sure you can see that properly, looped over there, one foot, and then again the same, looping over the other here. So again, it's looped over, I've got the band like doubled up. Here, you can hopefully see here both sides of the band that I'm holding here. Now remember with the face pull, we're driving the elbows out. We're not like pulling them just straight back. we're driving them out wide to the side. Okay, so that's the movement we're going for. And obviously, as the name implies, we're trying to pull the band roughly into this area. We're not down here, going a bit higher with it. So we're going to go for, again, 10 reps. Not going too high with this one, as I say, we are trying to crank up, make it a little bit tougher. But again, drive those elbows out. Remember, try and pause. When you get back. 10. There we go. So, we're going to move on to the good morning now. So, it's a bit of a staggered stance, this one. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have the band over one foot. And you're going to stand on it with the foot that's going to be out in front. So, what I want you to do, set up like this. So, we're in a bit of a staggered stance. Now, my foot, so I hope you can see that properly, but my foot, the sole of my foot's flat up against the wall. If that's a bit uncomfortable for you, you can just stand in this sort of staggered stance if you want. Not a problem with that. But from here, as I say, it's a good morning sort of deadlift, so we're going for that hinge movement, so the legs are going to stay relatively straight. And what you want to concentrate on is the bum going back towards the wall. We're not going down, pushing back towards the wall. We're going to do 10 each side. Just make sure that band's across the traps as well to keep it in a comfortable position. And hinging back. There we go. Just swap over legs. So again, remember hinging, pushing back with the bum. Try and stand up. Not too far out there. Don't need to be super wide apart with your feet here. Just a bit of a staggered stance. So back into it. Oh, 10 there. Oh. So with that, I'll show you different ways to set up for the band there as well. We don't have to have it across the back of that. There's a couple of different ways we can set up to go for the tension there. But hopefully we're feeling all right with those. So again, we'll go for 3 rounds of this. So again, back on the floor, get the band looped over the middle of your foot. Remember 10 reps with this, driving those elbows out to the side, pulling the band roughly into the face, sort of area with this, but obviously don't actually hit your face with it. So again, driving out wide, pause. Go. So again, now set this way, if you want to try setting the band up a little bit differently, you can try it like we did for the step-ups the first time round. So again, so let's start on the correct side. We can just hold the band like this. See, again, over the middle of the foot, just holding it with one hand. So again, one foot up flat against the wall, if that feels okay. Again, you can have it down if it does feel a bit uncomfortable for you. But from here, just get a decent bit of tension. Remember, bum back. And do adjust the tension to what you feel is good for you. So just again, quickly changing over the feet. Again, over the middle of the foot, get that bit of tension on it. Foot up, other foot against the back of the wall. And from here again, just hinging back nicely from this. So sit yourself, push back, squeeze forward. Try and keep this foot as well, the foot's up against the wall, try and keep that pressure against the wall a little bit with it. 10. Clear, hopefully show your hips and glutes going there a little bit. So the computer's just locked me out then. So again, the last set, third set now. So get back to the band and face pulls. So start getting that pace up a little bit. So again, feet, just get looped nicely over your feet. And again, chest up tall. And again, drive those elbows out with a little bit of a pause. That top position. Ten. Okay. So again, moving back. So the last set, good morning too. Standing on the band. Comfortable, foot back against the wall. Decent bit of tension on that band. And then push your bum back like you need it to touch the wall. That's it. Again, changing over sides. So nicely set up and ready. And again, remember, just focus, keeping your chest up. A little bit push forward, pushing your bum back. And just feeling for your hips travelling back. When you feel like your hips have travelled back, you can't go any further, that's just when it's time to stand up. Don't worry about trying to bend over as far as you can. Just pushing back. Oh, 10. Cool. So there we go. 3 sets. So again, if you do fancy doing a few more sets with those, just give the video a little pause here. So we're going to move on to 2 more exercises now, just before the holds ab work that we do at the end. So for this one, we will need something to hook the band up to. For this, so the first one we're going to do is a sort of bent over row, but with the palms up instead of like to the sides. So we're going to have our palms up in this position throughout. So it's going to have a little bit more of a curl feel, like we're curving the band in as well. We're going to go for slightly higher reps with this. So we're going to go for 15 reps with this one. Okay, slightly higher reps. So if you want an alternate exercise to this one, if you don't have something to attach the band to, just where you stand on the band and row up. Again, another good alternative to this, and say you can still do that in the palms up position. So let's set ourselves up. So we've got a band wrapped round, and what we need to do is sit into this a little bit. So bum a little bit, push back, knees a little bit bent, and then as I say, palms up, facing towards the ceiling. And we're just going to do 15 rows. So driving those elbows back, pull the band in nice and tight to the chest. Right, so 15 then. So, next one, we're going to do some good old hamstring curls. So for this one, advise drop the band down a little bit as well, back as low as you can. But for this one, you want to hook your band, pull your band out wide, and as I say, what you want to do is get your feet over the top and just hook it over the band like that. It'll help keep it in place. Make sure you've got a little bit of tension on it as well, so it's not loose. What to do then, just carefully roll over. And from here, I'm just going to do 15 curls. Imagine you're just trying to get your heels to touch your bum. Nice and steady. Just get plenty of pull on that. There we go. So yeah. So we'll start picking up the pace a little bit now. So get the band ready, back into those rows. So again, remember, just the key thing for this one, palms up towards the ceiling. So again, good bit of tension. Again, a little bit, sat back, like we're going into a little bit of a squat. Just to set yourself nicely, just drive back those elbows. Remember, feel like you can stop in the position, doesn't need to be for long, you just hold that position. In there. Again, back down. Onto our feet. Remember this one, key thing, open up the band. Step your foot into the band and loop the band. Loop your foot under the band just to help hold it in place while we roll over into position. So again, just drag yourself out a little bit if you need a little bit more tension. And remember, we're just feeling for a steady squeeze on the back of the legs here, for here. Where we're aiming to feel it. And as I say with this one, just imagine you're trying to get your heels towards to touch your bum. Oh, 15 reps there. So, move on to the last set of these. Again, getting yourself up in position. As I say, get it to, remember, grab a good bit of tension on this. Make sure you're challenging yourself with this. Again, and a little bit of squat position. We'll just get rowing back. Remember that little pause. And back. One more there. That's it. The 15 there. So again, just moving on to this last set of hamstring curls. And again, these are ones where again, you can crank up the reps if you wanted to. If you wanted to really feel a bit of a burn, go for like 20 or so reps. You could do as a bit of an endurance one for you here. Well, there's no need to, but you feel free to challenge yourself. So again, nice and flat, good bit of tension on the ground. So I'm nice and set around, just feeling for the back of those legs working. Oh, seeing that. Oh. Right, so we'll move on to finishing that. So a couple of ab exercises. Obviously for this one, we're going to need a timer. As I say, we're doing holds for time. So I'm going to set this to 30 seconds, but again, always room to play with the time with this one. If you do want to go on for a bit longer, or again, knock it down, make it a little bit shorter. That's entirely up to you with this one. As I say, do feel free to make it challenging for yourself. Let's say we've got 3 exercises. I'm going to do 30 seconds on each one. So these are variations on sort of exercises that we've done before, but usually where we're trying to do as many reps as we can in the time, whatever, we're just going to hold it. Okay. So the first one we've got is double leg dead bug, but we're just going to push the legs out as far as we can, then hold in that position. So, again, for this one, now again, sorry, for your band, if you don't feel like you've got anything to attach it to, or you've got nothing that you want to pull on, what you can do is just hold the band, pull it apart, do a double leg dead bug, and hold down the position for 30 seconds instead. There's a variation there. So I'll talk you through the other two as we get to those. So the first one we'll do, just 30 seconds, if you just get yourself ready. So, position. So, in position. Just going to start the timer. So, pull the band down, and just push those feet out to a tough point to hold. Remember, keep feeling a lot of pulling the band down. And from now, we're just going to hold as best we can. Trying to not let that, we don't let that band slip up like that. Still holding down on it. There we go. So the next one we're going to do is called tall reach. So again, this one, what we're going to do is holding the band here, we're going to reach up, hold in position. Okay, just hold that position. Again, if you don't feel like, if you haven't got anything you want to attach the band to, you can just take the band off, put it underneath your knees, hold it up, and then lean back into a little bit. That still does the same job. So what I'm doing here is just have the band under your knees, push up tall, like into like you're doing an overhead press, and just hold that position. We're going to have it a little bit out in front of us though, so we can play with the tension a little bit more. So again, starting the clock, arms nice and straight, just reaching up, nice and tall. Just going to hold this position. Then keep that chest pushed up. Remember as well, if you wanted to adjust the tension on this one the next time around, obviously if I come a bit closer to the band, that's going to make it a bit easier. The further I come away, the harder this is going to be. But we'll just keep in tall. And then the next one we're going to do is power hold. So on the band a little bit higher. So this is just one where we press out in front of us. Now, with this one, we'll need different exercise again if you've got nothing to attach your band to. So the thing that I would suggest is a good old Russian twist instead. So you get the band, just hold the band out in front of you, pull it apart a little bit. And we're going to do 30 seconds a Russian twist if you haven't got anything you want to attach your band to. With this one, obviously we're going to do 15 seconds each side and just change over the sides. So again, set your timer. Oh, sorry, as well, one more thing. You can do this standing. I'm just doing this kneeling because that's the thing that the band is attached to. It's just a little more comfortable to do it in the kneeling position. By all means, feel free to stand up with this one. So, sorry for that. Let's get ready, go. So, press out in front of me. Easy, I want to keep my arms out straight in front of me, not let the band pull me across. Just resisting it, keeping my chest up. So, right, so we'll just turn around and face the other way, work the other side, and get arms straight out in front, bottom squeeze forward, really squeezing those glutes. There we go. That's the first round done with that one. So, go back to the dead bug to this one. So again, remember, start getting that tension right on the band now. So you've done this one through. Now you want to be making this challenging for yourselves, getting yourselves into tougher positions where you really feel it working. So remember the dead bug wants to keep your back on the floor. So pull your knees in, feel like your back's rounded out, your arms are pulled in a little tight. Again, just pull the back down into position, feet out. From that, then rolling over, get yourself back up. And now look for this one. So I'm back into that tall overhead reach position. So again, remember, slightly pressing the band overhead, lean back into it a little bit. Just keep that nice tall position. Again, same thing though, keeping your glutes tense with the swan. Down to the floor. So again, moving into the pull-off one again. Going to start the timer. So again, show some tension, pressing out in front of you and holding. Again, just change directions with this one. Let's spin yourself around. So again, we'll keep the pace going with this. So, moving back into the last dead bug now. We'll do. So again, get some tension on the band, just put it in place. Going to pull your knees in, get those abs in tight, feel like braced, lower back's pressed into the floor. Start the timer, just get those, pull the band down nicely, hold that position. So, back into 30 seconds of tall kneel reach. So again, start time going, just press, bend, overhead, nice and tall. Again, just keeping that bum squeezed forward, trying to get those arms straight up. So, last set of power press now. So remember, you want to feel like there's a bit of tension on the band when you're holding it here on your chest. If you don't feel anything, move a little bit further out. So, get the tummy out, again, bum squeeze forward with this. Keep them punched out in front of you now. Again, just change directions. Oh. Alright, so that's just done for the day. So, again, do feel free to do a few more sets on that. If you want to feel your abs a little bit more, go for it a little bit more. And again, as well, if you do over this at a later time, do feel free to increase the time on those. Again, I've done 30 seconds just so we get through it in a decent time, but you know, if you crank those up to a minute, you're really going to feel all of them. So again, hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know if you've got any questions, if you want any alternative exercise or just anything explaining, just give me a shout in the comments and I'll get back to you. Until next week, see you later.